Good morning. It's about 6 a.m. here. I'm in Garden City, Kansas at our terminal here. Excuse the darkness, it's still dark outside. I got up to go for a walk. I like to get up early when I'm on my break or when I'm home. You know, I like to try to get up about 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that. I've mentioned it before about, you know, staying in shape, keeping yourself healthy out here. It's not always easy to do. You know, you sit in the truck and that's all, you know, you sit in the truck and drive all day. When I was in Alaska, of course, I did more. I mean, there's a lot of sitting and driving there too. Of course, there's also more stuff that you do that you may not do down here. And so I thought I would do this short video. I'm trying to keep it short on what I do. I try to do a lot of walking. I don't really have a chance to get to the gym anymore like I used to because I don't have a set schedule. Back before COVID, I had a set schedule. I was going to Albuquerque, New Mexico twice a week from Dallas, so I could hit the gym 2, sometimes 3 times a week, you know. Twice, well, I'd go more than twice on my days off on the weekend. I'd go several times. I enjoyed going to the gym. And then I'd get a day off between trips, I think on Wednesday, and I would go then as well. I don't get a chance to do that really anymore. Last time I worked here, I joined a gym here in Garden City because I was in Garden City a lot, but I'm not in Garden City as much. We're kind of slow down this way. We're waiting for a packing house to open here in town, and then we'll probably get busy here again. But anyway, your health is very important. You know, a lot of guys have heart attacks in this business. I need to look up the statistics, but it's pretty high. And I've said this before about, you know, you see one truck off the road, you know, why'd he do that? Did he fall asleep? But most likely he had a heart attack. It happens a lot. Or some sort of medical emergency. We tend not to go to the doctor a lot because we're on the road a lot, and it's hard to schedule a doctor appointment and then try to get home. You know, you can tell dispatch, hey, I need to be home at a certain time, and, you know, a myriad of things can happen. Loads cancel, trucks break down. For some reason, they can't get a load, you know, there at that, you know, in time. It's difficult. It really is. So, you know, we tend to just blow off doctor's appointments or aches or pains that we're feeling, or something just doesn't feel right, you know, and I don't know, I just don't feel right, but I'm not going to bother trying to get to the doctor. Stuff like that. I'm bad about it, so I'm not, you know, just saying. I always say I'm just like an old mutt dog, you know, I'm just going to live till I die. I'm not one of those people who goes to the doctor for every little thing. When I worked at one company where we had a company clinic, and that made it a little bit easier. I could get blood work done or whatever, and they would check my blood work every once in a while. Yeah, you're doing fine, you know. But here's the problem with the trucking industry. For a lot of people who don't understand it, you get a guy who's been driving down the road. He stops, eats dinner, some really carb-heavy meal, right? You know, a lot of carbs, probably a lot of sugar. Then he gets back up in that truck and either drives another few hours, or he gets back there in the sleeper and he goes to bed. You know, that's a recipe for a heart attack. But we do it, you know. I I don't anymore, but I used to. You know, I mean, it feels good. You go into a food coma, right? That's what all those carbs do. They put you in a food coma. You're like, yeah, man, it feels, you know, it feels all right. It's destroying you, man. If you're gonna eat a lot of carb, and I do sometimes, I'll carb up, you know. I do 1 day a week. I'll eat some sugar, you know. But I try to be active on that, especially on. I mean, I try to be a little active every day. Some days is easier than others, but on a day when I know I'm gonna eat some carbs or I'm gonna eat some sugar, I try to be extra busy that day, you know. Even if it's just parking at the back of the truck stop, you know, and having to walk back and forth as much as possible. But, you know, I also try to eat better than I used to. I eat mostly meat and vegetables. I eat very, very few carbohydrates. I eat very few potatoes. I eat very little bread. I used to eat a little Ezekiel bread with butter. Contrary to popular belief, butter's not bad for you. Your body's made to digest butter. Your body's not made to digest margarine, so stay away from that stuff. Stay away from the margarine, stay away from the seed oils, stay away from the tofu, anything that was manufactured, you know, stay away from it. So that's generally what I do is meat and vegetables. A lot of protein, and I try to stay away from the foods with a lot of ingredients. Now I do eat a lot of canned fish, sardines, mackerel, things like that, simply because I could cook fish in the truck, and I love fish, but you know, it can smell up a truck, man. So I eat canned fish. Is it the best alternative? No, it's not the best, but it's better than nothing, you know. So anyway, just a little short video on what I eat, and you know, I try to eat one meal a day, and it's usually a pretty big meal, but it's one. Some people can't do that. Some people get really lightheaded, or some people who, you know, have a blood sugar issue, you know, they have to eat more than once a day, and things like, and I get that. So I'm not saying that's for everyone, but if it doesn't bother you, now if it's just that, well, I get hungry. We all get hungry, you know, but it's mind over matter on that. You know, it's a good self-discipline tool. If you can do it, like I said, if you medically safely can do it, it's a good discipline tool. Now, there's some days if I'm more busy, I'll eat twice a day. Like today, you know, I'm gonna try to stay busy because I'm off. Excuse me. So I'll probably eat twice today, you know. But normally when I'm just driving, I eat once, usually in the evening. And then if I do end up eating twice, I'll try to at least get 16 to 18 hours of a fast in between the next time I eat, you know. But generally once a day when I'm driving. So that's kind of what I do as far as, you know, trying to keep myself from getting too big. Excuse the lighting, I'm not trying to be whatever mysterious. It's just if I turn all the lights on, it's just a big blur, you know. So this is what, you know, this is the way it is. So I'm going to do a live stream tonight at 7 p.m. I think. I did a post on it. So if you have any questions for me, I've noticed that there were some comments that I've skipped on a few videos. I don't mean to do that. I get busy sometimes. So if you sent me a comment like a month ago, and I haven't reacted to it at all. Please don't take offense. I get busy and I go through the comments, but if I don't scroll down far enough, I miss some. And then later on, when I do have some times, I'll scroll down a little further and I'll say, oh crap, I didn't even see these, you know. Some guy was asking about pulling a tanker without hazmat or something. I don't know. I'll try to address that in the live stream. And there was some other questions too about how I got into hauling explosives up there, and I'll try to remember to get into that as well. But anyway, this is just a short video on, you know, I want to do a video on nutrition. That's why I'm talking about this. I really think it's important in this industry. We have too many guys that are not in good health and they're dying too young, and it's just not good, and we need to do something about it. If you're a man over 40 and you've got a lot of stomach fat, you are a candidate for a heart attack. That's just a fact. Carrying around a lot of fat in the midsection for a man is not healthy. And it's hard to get rid of, and I get that. But man, you just, and some people may not agree with my methods on how I lose weight and how I stay in shape. That's fine. Whatever works for you. I'm telling you what works for me, and I'll get more into that in later videos. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now. I'm going to go ahead and post it, and like I said, I'm going to do a live stream tonight, 7 p.m. If I get held up, I'll do a post on it, but I think 7 ought to be okay. So I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.